So we started this chapter, how do organisms reproduce, and so far we have studied that how single organisms reproduce, or we have studied modes of reproduction used by single organisms. Means one organism will be capable of producing new organisms of that species, and in that modes we have studied binary fission in amoeba as well as in leishmania, and also we have studied multiple fission in plasmodium. So now there is another mode of reproduction used by single organism, which is asexual reproduction, and that mode is known as fragmentation. What was common in binary and multiple fission for amoeba, plasmodium and leishmania was that they were all unicellular organisms. They were all unicellular organisms. And now we are going to study multiple or multicellular organisms, but of very simple kind of body organization. Like we are also multicellular organisms, but in us we have cells who made tissues, and these tissues together made organs, which makes our organ system. And combining these all organ systems like digestive, reproductive, respiratory, excretory, nervous system, endocrine system, this all system makes our whole body. But there are some multicellular organisms which have very simple kind of body organization. Means they are made up of only single kinds of cells brought together to form a body. So in fragmentation, our example is Spirogyra. There is an activity given in your textbook. If you study activity 8.4, in which they say that you have to collect water from a lake or pond that appears dark green. You have observed that at some places, some lakes or ponds, they contain this dark green water. And why you have to choose this dark green water? Because they contain some filamentous structures. What are these filamentous structures? Filamentous means they are just like this simple filament. These structures are our Spirogyra. Now, if you collect these filamentous structures that are Spirogyra, you have to put some drops of glycerin on these filaments and put it on a slide and observe it under microscope. So you can identify different tissues in Spirogyra filament, or you can say that you can identify different kinds of cells which makes these filaments of Spirogyra. But what we are going to study, we are going to study reproduction in this Spirogyra. So this Spirogyra, when gets mature, means it can now reproduce. So when Spirogyra gets mature, this is the body of Spirogyra, so it gets cut down into different parts. So now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts of this filament of Spirogyra. So all of these 6 parts will grow into new Spirogyra. So at a time, this single filament of Spirogyra can produce more than 2 offsprings or more than 2 progeny, daughter Spirogyra. So this method of reproduction, in which they simply gets cut down on maturation and grow into new organisms, is called as fragmentation. So this can only be done in simple multicellular organisms, not in complex multicellular organisms which have this structure like us, cell makes tissue, makes organs, make organ system, makes our whole body. So this is only possible in simple multicellular organisms. So now we will move on to our next topic, that is regeneration in Hydra. But before that, let us understand this. The organisms which we have studied so far were generally unicellular or multicellular with simple body organization. So in that kind of organisms, you can say that, especially in unicellular, you can say that cell division itself is a reproduction. That I have already told you before, that if there is unicellular organism, it will simply do cell division, and if this is unicellular, it does cell division, they makes two cells, so you can say that reproduction is done. But this is not possible in multicellular organism. In our system, multicellular organism, tissues, organs, these all are present at some specific place. Like stomach is present at some specific space, kidney is present at its own specific space. So every organ, every tissue in our body have some special functions to do. That's why they are specialized in that part only, and they are present at specific place only. So in our system, this cell division cannot work. Like if we want to reproduce, we simply cannot divide our cells and produce a new human being, because every cell in our body is of different kind of special functions. So that's why there is some complex systems of reproduction in higher organisms. Means we have different cell types to perform different specialized functions. Means we have different cells for different functions. Like cells present in our stomach can only produce HCl, they cannot produce sperm. For sperm, special cells are present in our testes. So we have different cells for different functions, so there should be some cells for this function, which is reproduction. So there are some specific cells which are specialized to do reproduction only, like sperm mother cells in our testes or ovum mother cells in ovary in female. These are specialized to do reproduction. And when this reproduction, a process in reproduction, which is fertilization, which we will study, in which sperm plus ovum, they get fused together to form a single cell called as zygote, from which all of us are made. Means every human being is made from or developed from a single cell, which is zygote. So when zygotes get made, it will do cell division, which is called as cleavage, which we also study later. But when zygote divides or it do cell division, there are many cells. Let's say this is our embryo now, not zygote. Zygote got divided and made many cells. So this is our multicellular embryo now. So in this embryo, there are different cells which have some potency or capability to produce any of these cells, different cells for different functions. Means these cells present in this embryo, they can produce heart, they can produce kidney, they can produce nervous system, they can produce our whole body. So these cells, they have some tendency or potency to produce every cell present in our body. So this is the way our reproduction is done, which we will also study in deep later on. But right now, you just have to remember that the modes of reproduction you have studied so far are not capable in our highly complex body. So this is the basic procedure to follow in highly developed organisms. Now we can study our regeneration in Hydra. So our next mode of reproduction used by single organism is regeneration. So what is regeneration? First of all, there are some fully developed organisms, like for example say lizard. All of you have seen lizard, and all of you know that when tail of this lizard gets cut down, this lizard will grow a new tail. So how that can be possible? If your arm gets cut down, all of you will not be able to grow another one, but lizard is capable of doing so because there are some specialized cells present in lizard at the starting of its tail. If this is the tail of lizard, there are some cells present here which are specialized cells. You don't have to know the name, but there are specialized cells which are capable of producing a new tail. Likewise, there are some organisms like Planaria and Hydra which are capable of producing a whole new organism from any of part of their body. Means if this is the, I am drawing the figure of Planaria. So this is Planaria. These are not his eyes, it's just the structure. Planaria is a multicellular organism, more developed than Spirogyra and less developed than any other organism you know. So this is Planaria. If this Planaria gets cut down into these three parts, it gets cut down into three different parts. So all of these three different parts will produce new Planaria. Understood? If somehow this body gets cut down, it will produce new organism from each and every part of the body. This happens in Planaria, and this can also used by Hydra. But as this is not the principal reproductive method, because every time this organism wants to reproduce, it will not like to get cut down. Any of organism or any organism would not like normally depend on being cut up every time he wants to reproduce. So that's why this is not the principal method, or regeneration is not the same as reproduction. Okay, so next one is budding. It is also observed in Hydra. In budding, what happens? They use these regenerative cells or specialized cells which were present in Planaria. They are present as well as in Hydra, but they do not get cut down. Let me draw one Hydra here. These are the tentacles of Hydra. So this is our Hydra. Now what happens? These regenerative cells which are capable of producing new organisms are present in whole body of our Hydra. So at some part this cell will start to divide and grow. So there will be some outgrowth on this body of Hydra. So this outgrowth is called as bud. So this outgrowth will continue to grow, and at some point it will grow into a fully mature Hydra, and once this is done, it will get detached from its parents, so it will become a new Hydra. Pardon me for my drawings. So this is the way of reproduction by budding. So this happens at some specific sites only, and at a time hydra can produce more than two birds at the same time, because all organism contains regenerative cells. Regenerative cells are these specialized cells which can produce a whole new organisms. Okay, so we can move on to our next topic, which is vegetative propagation. So vegetative propagation, this is also mode of reproduction used by single organism, vegetative propagation. When we started this chapter, we were only talking about animals. Up to this, we only talked about animals. Although the name of this chapter is How Do Organisms Reproduce, not animals, because organisms contains both animals as well as plants. So this vegetative propagation is method used by single plants to produce new plants. So there are many plants in which the parts like root, stem, leaves, these parts can produce or develop into a new plant. So there are some plants in which roots, stems, leaves can develop into new plants, and this process is called as vegetative propagation. And generally this method is used in agriculture practice by layering and grafting. These are the processes which you don't have to study right now, but layering and grafting are used in agricultural practice in which new plants are grown from roots, stems or leaves of the old plants, and it is beneficial because the plants which are grown by vegetative propagation, they gets flowering earlier than the plants which will be grown from seed to flower. Like if you sow a seed in a land near your house, you will observe that it will take years to get flower on that plant. But if you use vegetative propagation, so there will be some already much grown plant. This is the plant. If you use grafting at this point, so it will start to grow a new plant from here. Now if this plant gets mature enough, you can detach it from there and grow it on land, and you will observe that the flower will come on this plant more faster or more earlier. So this way vegetative propagation is used in agricultural practice to grow many plants like sugarcane, roses, grapes, sometimes bananas, orange, etc. These all can be grown by this method, vegetative propagation. Similarly, sometimes the plants of phylum Bryophyllum. Bryophyllum is the category of plants which you have studied in your 9th standard. So some plants of Bryophyllums, they grow buds on their leaves, like figure is given in your textbook. There is a leaf and some plants like structure are grown on the surface of our leaf. So these are called as buds, and when appropriate condition arrives, these buds will grow into new organism. So this is also an example of vegetative propagation observed in Bryophyllum plants. So only this much of examples are given in your textbook about vegetative propagation in plants. So we should move on to next process of reproduction, which is spore formation. So our last mode of reproduction used by single organism is spore formation. You have basic knowledge that in multicellular organisms, complex multicellular organisms like us, human beings, we have some special reproductive organs like testis and ovary in male and female respectively. These are our reproductive organs, but organisms which use modes of reproduction of single organism, they do not have any reproductive organs. The reproduction which we have studied so far, like binary fission, multiple fission, fragmentation, vegetative propagation, in all of that there were not any reproductive organs. But some simple multicellular organisms like rhizopus. Rhizopus, which was grown on your bread in activity 8.2. Activity 8.2 is given in your textbook, in which they says that you have to take a bread, keep it in moist and dark place for 2 or 3 days. So after 2 or 3 days, you will observe that on the surface of this bread there will be some structures or filaments like this. These are called as hive. These are all filaments. These are called as hive. They are not the reproductive structure of rhizopus. The organism which will grow on your bread are rhizopus only, a kind of fungi. So these fungi, this grow on the surface of your bread. This is the bread. So this structure, long filament like structure, is called as hive, but they are not reproductive structure. But there is some blob on stick like structure, means if you see, this is as stick and this as blob. So this is our reproductive structure. In this, cells or spores are present which are capable of producing new organisms. So this blob structure is called as sporangia, in which our spores are present which are capable of producing new rhizopus in appropriate conditions. Now what are these appropriate conditions? These are generally moist and dark places. And this sporangia, function of this sporangia is to protect these spores present inside them. So the wall of sporangia is very thick, so it can protect the spores present inside them until these appropriate conditions arrives. So these are reproductive structures observed in simple multicellular organisms which we haven't seen so far. So all of these methods we have studied so far, all of these were done by single organisms. That's why they are called as asexual reproduction. And now we will study sexual reproduction in our next lecture, in which two organisms take parts to produce a new young ones. So first of all, we will study why we should use sexual reproduction. Then we will start sexual reproduction in flowering plants and so on. Thank you, students.